see if I can get this to work. Create a note. Theoretically. Alright. Hey guys. Look who joined. All the way from Texas. I bet Wave doesn't work, right? Yeah, Wave doesn't work. Are you doing a live showing later at 915 Nintendo? Apparently he's super rich and wants to tell you all about it. So go and talk to him about stuff. Here we go. New tablet. So bear with me. Okay. So you guys can see that. Okay, cool. In case I need to. See, I'm like expanding into props. Props and like trying to do things. I don't know. Better is necessarily the word. Better is just a strong word. Differently, I don't know. Evolution or something. What was I going to talk about? So I have a bunch of openings, obviously. Is that a ninja? Dude, don't bring ninjas into my forum. Come on, dude. You're better than that. Munchnik, always have to travel with a ninja. There was a video this week I found interesting. It was, I can't remember the dude's name. It was with Greg, who actually is Dylan, but goes by Greg for some reason. I don't know why, if anybody can clarify that. But he did an interview with Reserved Investments. I keep feeling like the guy's name is Stan, but I know that's not right. Anyway, hey, bud. The interview was interesting because I feel like they got some things like spot on, but they were just so wrong on certain other things. And I mean that with the utmost respect, because I think that they were trying to disseminate like good information, and that's all that anybody can do. I just have a academic disagreement about the future of games and what I think their analysis was kind of like spot on, but it was under the guise of like, once these things are corrected, we've got some questionable data coming out of Heritage, we got some questionable people and money being spent, but the thing is, like, once this stuff's corrected, the prices aren't going to go back down. This is really truly a rare and special market, and while people don't want to hear that because everybody hopes that there's a correction. There's not going to be a correction. There's not going to be a buying dip where suddenly you're able to get Super Mario, World for, $10,000 again. It's just not going to happen. I have to live with that too, because I'm buying into this market just like everybody else. But I just don't want people to get the concept that, like, the Reserved Investments guy always uses the word bubble, and like, it's just the worst kind of word, because it implies that it'll someday deflate, or that's the whole point of it being called a bubble. That someday it pops or it deflates, or that comes crashing down. And I from my standpoint, at least my personal opinion, I don't see that being the case. So I don't see the word bubble being appropriate when applied to this market. You could call it a lot of things. You could call it momentum based. You could call it. I mean, I don't think that's accurate either. But there's a lot of things on which, like, this market's built, and underlying all of them, I think one of the most important things is the people's connections to the games, and that's not going anywhere, and that's not changing, and it's just the awareness for it is just starting. So anyway, I'm bullish on games long term. I don't think anybody who probably is here has anything to worry about if they see people say that. People will call Apple a bubble too. But yet, for the last 30 years of our lives, Apple has done nothing except for grow and grow and grow. Same thing, with Google and a few other companies. So, you could call those bubbles if you want to, but if they don't pop, then they're not to me, then the whole point of it being called a bubble is fictitious and a fallacy. So, I don't know. I just wanted to make that clear because I think people see these things, and I think the interview was ultimately a really educational, good. I think he made some good points. Like everybody who knows that Super Mario wasn't a rare game and didn't deserve to be the first $1 million game. That being said, it doesn't matter. That's the difference. Everybody's sort of like pouting about it, and while I don't agree with it one iota either, it is what it is. And even if it gets corrected, I'm not saying that another Mario 64 is going to go for $1.5 million, but like probably no one with a 9.88 plus plus is going to be selling theirs for a long time, so there's no reason for it to dip either. We've seen already that like an 8.5 is not treated anywhere in the same ballpark or even the same game as a 9.88 plus plus. So they're kind of different markets. They can exist separately, and there's no reason to like think that there's going to be like some crash. I mean, the 8.5s are going to continue to rise from the points that they were, and you could really just ignore it. Like that game, that 1.5 million is like its own stratosphere, it's its own thing. Like unless there's another sale, you can just disregard that entire data point. And that's the best thing I could tell people to do, is honestly let it pull up the market in general by bringing some news and stuff like that in, but like just disregard it as a data point. And I think you'll be happier and easier to evaluate games. I mean, there were a lot of other high auctions that did, set new records too, that I think were important, that are, in comparison to the 1.5, I say we keep those. I say we throw out the really extraneous, data point here, but like keep the other high ones. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that like Super Mario World is necessarily going to sell for 360,000 in its next 10 sales. I don't know, but you're probably not going to have much data on like high grade exchanges anyway. And if there is another high grade one up for auction at Heritage, I would imagine it probably does go for at least six figures. So it is what it is. Anyway, how about we do some openings and see what goodies have come, because there's a lot of goodies here, and there's actually some stuff that I think will kind of interest a lot of different people this time. I have some non-game stuff here that's not a lot of it, but some game related, but not game per se. What is this? As always, I don't know anything I'm opening. It's all kind of a surprise to me for the most part, with the exception of the other thing I was just talking about. Most of this is this looks like a PS4 game. Oh, yeah, this better be good condition. I hate it when PS4 games come in and they're like, opened or like just completely damaged. This one was actually packaged really well. I need a nice copy of this, and I'm hoping this one will suffice just for my collection. So nothing super interesting there, but something that I have to buy and bother to get graded, just because if I want to have the whole set, it sort of, I kind of view it as a requirement, I guess. This, on the other hand, this might be interesting. So we got a recycled Amazon box here. All 4 recycling packages, nothing wrong with that. Like a good packing job, which so far this is. But I don't mind reusing boxes. In fact, I prefer it. It's better for the environment. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is really cool. So I ordered this the other day. That was fast. I've been expanding, some of my reach in terms of like the genres of things that I collect, and while I still haven't dabbled into Pokemon, I have gotten into computer big box games, and this is one of my favorite, Quest for Glory 3, Wages of War, I believe, Wages of War, yeah. Sierra made the best games back in the 80s and 90s. They were really, I don't know what happened to them as a company, but they were really the balls, and they did the best, most fun, games out there, in my opinion, and I've been really super bullish on on getting some of them in, because that was the roots of what where my gaming background really came from. So I thought I think these big boxes, if you can find them in good enough condition, they're so interesting, and there's so few of them left. Um, I'm bullish on those. I mean, I shouldn't tell everybody, but I don't care. Go out and get what you want. Don't listen to me. But I'm super. I feel strongly that they are undervalued. I think there's really not many of them. I think there's a lot of people like me who's came up actually on the computer. Like, I was playing Wolfenstein and Doom and all kinds of like computer games before I ever got my first console. I mean, that's not exactly true. I had an Atari back in the day, a long time ago, but Atari kind of, after Atari kind of died out, it was many years before, I mean, not that long, but it was before Nintendo came out and got as mainstream as it did. It took a while. I mean, it was probably 4 or 5 years, and so, for a kid, that's a long time. Anyway, this is a really hard package to open. This is very far away. I'll tell you that. And let's see. Let's see if you can. It's this really long box that's covered. I mean, he did a great job with it. I'm not complaining, but it does make it difficult to open. Okay. Almost there. Wow, he really did a number on this. And it's taped there. And it's taped there, of course. Alright, and it's open. Alright, so what do we have here? I think we have like 5 or 6 cool things. VGA grades computer games. Yes, they do. VGA grades almost anything in sealed. There are a lot of things that they don't grade. They won't grade my Time Walk games because they're reproductions. I said, can you just grade it as a reproduction? And they said no. There was a bunch of stuff that they actually did refuse to grade, but they, I don't know, maybe they're expanding too with, IGS going into videotapes and everything. Like, that seems like a VGA all the way kind of market, but, I don't know. This is really cool. I want to get this open without damaging it, but there we go. Alright, 1 second. Your nipples are sealed. Can they grade them? You can send them anything you want to, buddy. You're a doctor. Why don't you trim them off and send them? I think it's not the weirdest thing somebody's done this year. Let me rephrase almost anything. Don't worry, that's my brother trolling, dude. He's just thinks he's funny. But yeah, VGA actually made. I mean, I don't know how much. If everybody knows this or not, VGA made medical equipment during coronavirus for doctors, hospitals, and various places that needed acrylic. They're an acrylic factory. I was actually impressed that they put their services to other use besides just making some money on games. But oh, this is so hot. So hot. Oh, man. So hot. This is the shredder I wanted. So this is the second shredder to come out. This is the Super Shredder. This is the one I remember the most. This is a clear 85. Series 5, 80, 88, 68 back. And the 68 would be because there's 68 characters now back there. Super, super cool. I needed a shredder. I'm getting a regular shredder too, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Eventually I will. But the Super Shredder is really, really attractive. Um, so that's one. That's one thing. I love these. I love some of these toys. These toys are so awesome. Um, like, I remember playing with that shit. It's like, what? I mean, literally 30 years, 30, 20, 28, 29 years ago. I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's, there's some of the stuff I collect. Like PS2 was more like, I played PS2 probably more in college than anywhere else. So some of the stuff is like, it's different periods of my life. I mean, NES kind of like was always there. Like I could always sit down no matter where I went. Like you go over to like some random person's house and they don't have anything to do there, and you're stuck there and you're bored as a kid or something. But like, somehow they magically have like an NES, and I mean, I could sit there for hours and just play NES. SNES too. I loved SNES. I mean, I love Genesis. I love them all. I mean, all the any console time was good time back then. Oh, this is cool. So this is, you can't have just Shredder because, I mean, that's only one bad guy for your Turtles to fight. You need to have at least two bad guys, and the other bad guy, of course, was Krang. With the brain in the stomach. Heroes in a half shell at their best. It's cool, right? I mean, I this is the first time I've even seen one. This has got to be a... You can milk anything with nipples, Greg. Oh, that's great at the top. So a 75, not a bad... That's a good grade for anything, anything with any action figures. The highest typically being an 85. This is a 1994 Series 7. And it is a 85 back, so there are 85 characters on the back here. Again, this is how they usually, distinguish between prints. So, kind of cool. Krang, along with Shredder so far. Now, I like, over everything, I like stuff that's really popular and rare. Rarity is always a key component in collecting for me. I mean, if you don't get rare, then you just have demand to carry you, and demand can be fickle. It can be. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. It's not... To me, I find investments, whether it's investment into my own collection, an investment into my inventory to sell, and anything that you spend money on is an investment, one way or another, right? Like, unless you're consuming it and you are not going to get anything out of it, but anything that like this that we buy, even if it's for our collection, it's an investment. So I view the collections to be, the investments to be less risky when there's at least some rarity involved, which is, it's part of why I've stayed away from certain things that I don't understand. I don't understand Pokemon rarity. I don't understand, and rarity is also a function of demand, of course. But some rarities are so beyond, demand that, all you need is a little bit of demand because the rarity is so intense. I always like things that are like 1 of 10, 1 of 1 is always great, of course, but like, stuff that's super rare is always key for me to really get excited about something. So this is a definition of rare. And I think, for me, just something I sort of like had to have. What this is a prototype, I guess, where the brain was not included. So an early make, I guess, of the same thing I just showed you. Really cool. It's notated. It's a VGA 80 at 81.7, rated clear. It's a Series 7 97 back missing Krang. And as I understand it, it's missing it because it was a prototype for the the actual thing came out. Either that or it's an error print, but I believe it was told to me to be a like a prototype. Either way, doesn't matter. It's something really unique that you're probably not going to see too many of out there. So really rare, really cool. And then you put it together with the one, of course, that isn't, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, I think. So anyway, your stuff doesn't have to be rare in order to be valuable, but it's always nice if it is. And then it becomes more and more valuable. One of my biggest hesitations, I used to collect cards as a kid. And one of my strongest, my biggest problems with it, and my biggest problem with getting back into it, is that, ultimately for me, the rarity is really only based on demand in a thing like sports cards. So your demand is totally artificial because this is something that was created solely for the purpose of collecting. Cards were only made so that people could collect them. Video games were not made to be collected. They weren't made to be kept sealed. In fact, some people argue to the death that they shouldn't be graded because they were meant to be played. But regardless, in fact, that actually furthers the value. The fact that people want to open these things and play them and don't want them to be collected actually furthers the value for other, in terms of scarcity. Because if they got the opportunity, they would open it. And we see certain people on YouTube or on Instagram all the time who are opening copies of old games, and it just makes me cringe. It's such a value destructor, but you can't stop them from doing that. And what it does ultimately is it makes the population of these games even more rare than what they were before. So I'm always into getting things that are definitely rare and have that potential to accelerate and gain value quickly because. If it's so rare, then you don't even need that much demand. You just need enough demand to fuel, it to get to the next level. So, with that said, how about Genghis Frog? That's the last turtle for today. He has a VGA AFA 85 clear. This is about the best that you're going to get any of these in. You can see the top of it's unpunched. It's got the hang tab, but it's unpunched up here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there. It's just it's still intact. The card is basically perfect as you're going to get for any of these. This is an early series, obviously. This is a series 2, a 14 back, So Genghis Frog, almost a perfect, a nearly perfect example of it. So. Really, really cool. I think I got my brother one of those for that was autographed by Eastman, I think. I'm not sure, but yeah, cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. All right, now for the more, let's call it main event, the games. And if anybody has any topics they want to discuss, feel free to chat it out. I will try to answer everything the best I can while I am. Opening stuff up, no question is crazy. That's not true, but let's just say no question is crazy. Rarity holds value, by the way. Scarcity is based on supply and demand. Yeah. I mean, it has to have something to it, but great game to start off with. Let's see if I can. Okay. Great game to start off with. One of my favorites of all time. Truly one of my favorites of all time. This is really one of the games I used to just dominate at this game. I can't say that for very many games, but for some reason I'm like Rain Man good at Dr. Mario. So I don't know why, but Dr. Mario is a lot like Tetris. I was also really good at Tetris, but this one you rain on your opponent when you play in 2-player mode, and it's I used to find it very calming during college. I would just sit down and play for like 20 minutes and like feel like refreshed. It's like a form of meditation. Just like sit down and zone out, and then start to like try to make these different structures and cascade falling events in Dr. Mario. Like if you play for 5 minutes, you'll know what I mean. And it's you get into this zen like state where you just kind of like I don't know, the world sort of fades away for a few minutes, we'll say. So that's my take on it anyway. You may have your own. But I love Dr. Mario. Let's see what's next. I got a big lot of games here. All VGA, it looks like. Nothing wrong with that. The first one looks like maybe Mega Man. Maybe Mega Man. Okay. So a Mega Man ZX. This is a VGA 95. I got this to fill out my collection. A 95 is always a nice grade to get. So, 85. You got 9.4. Yeah. Hey, bud. Let's see. Got some even more interesting ones in here. Here is this one is actually up for grabs, I think. So this should be my second copy. Mega Man X4 VGA 90. Mega Man X4. Followed by Mega Man Legends 2. I have an 85 plus. I guess this is my new copy, so I'll have an 85 plus potentially for sale. Oh, look who it is! Jeremy, your buddy just joined. So this was a cool pickup. I've never played this game, but I love the cover. I love the series, and I couldn't pass up a VGA 95. This is Tekken 3D Prime Edition for Nintendo 3DS. You know, I don't do a lot of 3DS and DS speculation, but I love the Tekken series, and a VGA 95 is pretty cool. Biggie Smalls, yeah, Biggie Smalls. Sky is the limit. Mega Man Zero Collection, another one. This one is my new personal copy now. Again, I like VGA 95s. What is this? Oh, that was the ad then. Okay, and another stack here. These look like Game Boy, perhaps. I don't know if they're separated by system, but I want to say maybe. So, the perfect game to go with the first. So the NES game, I just showed you and went on a rant about how much I love Dr. Mario. So naturally, my first Game Boy game that I had to have was Dr. Mario, a 85 plus uncirculated copy, meaning that it's basically perfect right out of the box. Doesn't get much better than this. So, yeah, I love Dr. Mario. And one more DS game, Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, VGA 90. I don't know, didn't play this one either, but it's Mario and Donkey Kong. Cool cover, and Mayhem on the back. So, this one is cool. This one I'm extremely happy to get another copy of. I had one and it left me, and I was super upset about it. They're getting extremely hard to find. Really happy to get Super Mario Deluxe in a VGA 90 condition. This is going to probably go in the vault. I don't think this is going to be for sale. So, need to have a few personal Mario's to the side, and this is gonna be one of those for me. I'm really bullish on the Game Boy Color in general, and I think this is not a game that's like super easy to get, especially these days. So yeah, it was really cool to get the opportunity to own one before they're gone. How about a water box? 'Cause I don't know what's in here. Let's see. Just joining. We opened a few games already, but here is a new water box. Oh, cool. I just was thinking I wanted to get one of these games recently. I'm a big Looney Tunes fan. I'm especially a big Tiny Toons fan. And this is a really great copy of The Great Beanstalk. Tiny Toon Adventures, The Great Beanstalk. There's Plucky and Buster on the front. And yeah, I mean, for Tiny Toon Adventures, what more do you need? I love this. I love these the Game Boy games. I love the Genesis stuff. Super Nintendo Buster Strikes Back or something. But anyway, these are great. Very happy with Tiny Toons titles. The next game is situated. It sort of traded places with me somehow. The next one is, really awesome. That's cool. Dragon Warrior 7. 9.8 A+ for Dragon Warrior 7. It's a two-disc release. Security strip on top. No funky business on the bottom, of course. And a nearly perfect grade. Dragon Warrior 7. It's a little too much glare, but yeah, really cool game though. I like the Dragon Warrior series a little bit more than some of the other. Some of it's like, I don't know, I wouldn't say competition, but just, oh, that's cool. I don't know any of these grades. I don't even know what's coming back, so this is also like surprises. You know, obviously this isn't the highest grade, but I will take this all day long. They did a great job of cleaning it up. 8.0C, yeah, I know, but Resident Evil Director's Cut. Yes, please. This is a Grail and a half right here. So super happy to see this. It's sealed. It doesn't have a great seal on it, but it's sealed. Yeah, double disc set, right? Security strip on top. You know, it's got some wear, but you know, it's a nice sealed copy of Resident Evil. First print of, well, not the first print because it's director's cut, but the first Resident Evil. So I mean, that's a hard game to get. Really happy. There you go. I mean, that's a piece of history right there. I mean, they all are, but you know, some stuff just really, like, you know, get you. Here's a game I love. I may have to send this to my brother. Wu-Tang Shaolin style. 9.6 A++, basically a perfect copy of this guy. Had one and had to let go of it. Really super happy to have another come in of high grade. I mean, this is something that's going to be just an easy, like, to me, this is going to have a lot of value going forward. The cross between music and gaming is very, very limited. You know, there's stuff like Crisscross Make My Video that I think is going to be worth a lot too. There's not a lot of like crossover between music and games, and this is a great example on an early system. So super bullish on this title. Again, you can ask me. I mean, if I don't give this to my brother, like, then it'll be up for sale potentially, because I think I have one. I think I got one in my vault. But anyway, really, just I don't know. I love Wu-Tang, so why not? You know, why not? And that was one of the water boxes. Let's do the other water box, actually. You guys up for another water box real quick? Okay, so we got a big water box, but let's run through it, right? Dibs on Wu-Tang? Yeah, all right. I thought you would want that. I mean, it just seems like, you know, Martin Shkreli was spending $2 million on, you know, it was obviously, I think it was a one of one. It was like a gold CD or something, but you know, the game is not super easy to find. I mean, there's like I think there were a couple cases of them that were floating around for like a minute, but you know, oh man. So this is one of my favorite games of all time. I've talked about this many, many times. People always probably look blankly straight at me when I don't understand what I'm talking about, but Montezuma's Revenge. This is the bee's knees. This is, you know, one of my favorite games of all time. I have it for 2600. I have it for SMS. I have it for like computer, I think, and now I've got it for ColecoVision. Whatever. I never pronounce it right, and then when I do, I forget which one is right immediately. So, anyway, still sealed 92A. This is impossible to find, featuring Panama Joe. An impossible game to find. It's a really, really tough one. And this one looks like it has an upside down back. Box assembled upside down. Yeah, upside down back, so kind of like an error print, if you will. I don't give these error prints much of a, but I wouldn't call it an error print. It was an assembly error, so it's not really an error print. I wouldn't really put any value for or against it, you know, with that. But really cool. I mean, I've got this, you know, for almost every system it came out for now. And it's I don't know. To me, this is the essence of collecting. So, I don't know. For me, I played this game. It's one that nobody probably else knows, but like, Panama Joe. Yes, Panama Joe. Yes. Yes. Very super happy to have that come in, obviously. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, man, I love this. I love not knowing. I will say, I hate it, but like, I love it. 9.4 A+, Game Boy Original, Mickey's Dangerous Chase. Yes, it's a player's choice. I don't care. 9.4 A+. You know, try to find this in that kind of condition. Try to find any Game Boy game in 9.4 A+, original Game Boy, and then tell me it's Mickey. I love this. I love this stuff all day long. This is what collecting is all about. Oh, yes. Raul, it came. So, I've had a couple of these. The last one I got in was a 5.5 for some reason. Here's my 9.4 A+. Here's my personal copy now. Cybeast Gregor for Game Boy Advance. This is Mega Man. This is the last in the Battle Network series. This and Falzar. It's hard to get. It's hard to get in mint. I do have an 85 for sale now, it looks like. Super happy about this one. I've been waiting on this forever. This was a turbo submission, so I didn't know it was coming back today. I had no clue of the grade. I honestly didn't even remember that I had it. So, just a ton of fire coming out. Mortal Kombat 3. This is the Japan copy. 9.0 A+. Made in Japan. Where is it? Right there. Made in Japan. This is the one you want. This is a beauty. 9.0 A+. Really, really, happy about anything in a 9.0 A+ or above for a game of this iconic nature. Finish him. What does it say? Plunge into the darkness. It's your fight. It's your life. Mortal Kombat 3. Awesome. Love the Japan copies. Love to see a high-grade Japan copy come in. An N64 title. I don't have enough of these right now. Love it. Love it. Here we got Clay Fighter 63rd and the 3rd. Love this cover. Absolutely adore this cover. Frosty is at his worst. 8.0 A, not a terrible grade. Not super high, not super low, just very mid grade in my book. But nice for a collector to grab onto something in that condition still. And a title this big. There are not super many of these out there. Whenever I do see them, they get taken quite quickly. That could happen here. I'd like to think about holding on to a few N64 titles for a minute, but they do tend to fly out the door really quickly. So we'll see. I love that cover though. Love the Clay Fighters cover. Oh, nice. Okay, so this actually graded right around what I thought it would grade. This is my probably for sale copy now because I have a 9.4 as well. Although I have had some offers on that lately. If you're interested in a 9.4 A+ Final Fantasy 1 or an 8.5 B+, two definitely different price tiers, but a really nice copy. Not, very little wrong with this guy. This is the first in the series of all the Final Fantasies. There's the B+ right there. There's a little tiny piece missing. Otherwise, it looks like it's in mint condition. And then at 8.5, it really does basically look like, it's purely mint. This is a really, really nice copy for display and for otherwise, just, for keeping investment grade. For sure. So, yeah, super happy about getting one of these in. It's just really hard to keep stuff like Final Fantasy on the shelf for very long. People come at it pretty hard. Another N64 title, again, super, super happy. I'm trying to restock my N64 collection, so I have some decent offerings. This is definitely what I would consider a decent offering. A 9.0 A+, Mystical Ninja Gorman. This is one of those cult classic titles. 9.0 A+ is definitely going to get some people coming out of the woodwork. Made by Konami, so you have a very big name behind this game. Probably too big to fail kind of thing. I think it was a good game. I just didn't play it myself. Let's see. What did he do? A giant UFO has appeared over Oedo Castle. I don't know. Goldman and his giant robot. So, I don't know. It looks a lot like Mario 3D, Mario 64, actually. You can kind of see. So, anyway, I don't know if some people play this. This is, again, Japan copy. So, if there was a first print, then this is it. 9.0 A+. And, again, glad to expand these N64 titles. It's really hard to find a lot of N64 stuff these days. Just not a lot of people selling, but people always buying N64. So, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, a great classic from NES. Great condition, 8.5 A. This is one that's going to mean something to somebody. I didn't dabble with these games that much. I may have played them a little bit, but this was a big series. It went on into all the way into Sega Saturn for sure. So I know this was I know there were people who were really into that, like, the same way people are into Dungeons and Dragons and other stuff. So, someone was just asking about this game. Someone was just looking for a copy of it. So, whoever it was, if you see this, here's your Skate or Die. I got an A5B plus, original round seal. So, first print of this. Skate or Die was obviously a huge game from Ultra, who also made Turtles. This was one of my favorites for NES. Definitely one of my favorites of all time. You go skating around, you interact with people, you go to the half pipe. I remember that vaguely. I think it's the store to I keep only the best high scores, so I guess not the store, but yeah, this was a very, very big game for NES. One similar to like California Games, World Games I posted recently, Winter Games, Skate or Die, like they were all kind of like that kind of like genre. So I got to get cracking because I only got 15% power left. So here's Rambo, First Blood, Part 2, 9.2 A++. Really cool to see Rambo, and I assume that's Sylvester Stallone. It looks like him. It's been a long time, so it's hard to tell. But really cool game here too. I love Sega Master System for everything. So. Oh, that's cool. I think my other one, I had one of these and it went to auction, so it's good to have one come in. This is Blade, the movie, 9.6 A+, nearly perfect copy of Blade. Security strip, as you see, single disc game, based entirely on the Blade movie with Wesley Snipes. A classic by all means, and Marvel, I guess. I guess I didn't really realize that. So I guess this must be owned by Disney of all places now. I think they own Marvel. So really, really cool. Glad to see that come in as well. Last one we'll do real quick. If there's any questions, ask me now because my battery's about to die. Last one is, not a bad one for last. So Resident Evil 2 DualShock Edition, 9.2 A+, double disc set, security strip on top. This is the printed in USA DualShock version. I don't know if that's the first or the second printing of this. If anybody here knows, please jump in at this point. I don't know. But love the grade, love the game. Resident Evil 2 is one of the biggest in the series, collectability-wise and demand-wise as well. Resident Evil 2 actually sells better than Resident Evil 1, if you can believe it. Not like Resident Evil 1, the long box, but like if you're talking about like GameCube or whatever. So really, really cool. Again, I have Resident Evil 3 as well, so I've got a mini set starting, and then I guess with Resident Evil's Director's Cut, I kind of have Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. Maybe I'll get 4 and make a mini set for somebody. I think that might be the way to go. It's a really cool set to have. So, Capcom at some of its best work, if you ask me. So, although Capcom's done amazing work throughout the ages and still does amazing work today. So, always happy with throwing a little praise towards Capcom where they deserve it. So, all right, my battery's about to die. So if that's it, I guess I have to go. But thank you for joining, and we'll talk again soon.